Ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't going to really do this segment, but this is the type of segment that just gets me so frustrated. Or this is the type of story or article that I look at and I say, my God, they have to paint a picture of President Trump as this otherworldly monster. Because the reality of President Trump, great economy, prison reform legislation, first president to step foot in North Korea and begin a peace process between North and South Korea, the same president who President Moon Jae-in of South Korea stated should win the Nobel Peace Prize. He actually stated Trump should win the Nobel Peace Prize. You'll never hear this. You'll never hear this from media. You'll never hear this from people who are disgruntled and wanted Clinton to win after she cheated Bernie Sanders, and after Deborah Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign in disgrace. But let's just go ahead and I want to read this Atlantic article, and this is the way Democrats and media view Christians who support Trump. So the vast majority of conservative evangelical Christians obviously support President Trump. His support for Israel is, I think, a great thing as somebody who has family in Israel and had his bar mitzvah in Israel and is Jewish. But also, a great many Christians also love and support Israel as well, and they're happy as well with President Trump on that. But there's a lot of issues as well also. So I'm going to read this article. There are a great many logical, rational reasons why a Christian and why a Muslim and a Jew or anyone else, an atheist, would support Trump when he is going after corrupt officials like Comey, Strzok, and McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, all of them, who set up and framed him. By the way, check out H.A. Goodman's other channel. You'll get my alter ego, H.A. Badman. I might be still wearing this I'm With Her shirt, by the way. Look at this. Look at this awesome I'm With Her shirt. Yeah, I'm going all in, baby. I'm going all in. I'm obviously voting for Trump 2020, but Clinton is running again, which will be another reason why this article is absurd. Why some Christians love the meanest parts of Trump. Really? Just right then and there, the assumption or they're insinuating that President Obama didn't have the same mean parts. President Bush didn't have the same mean parts. The Middle East is ablaze because of both President Trump and President Obama, but they didn't have the same mean parts as Trump. President Trump wants to bring home Americans from counterinsurgency conflicts, including Afghanistan. And, you know what? He has so many mean parts on Twitter. So, the writer Ben Howe grew up in a world of conservative evangelicalism. When he looks at the religious right now, all he sees is a thirst for power and domination. That's actually the Democratic Party. That's actually the left. Okay? They're the ones who embrace people clad in all black and masks who are beating up journalists like Andy Ngo, who is a hero. I think Andy Ngo is a hero. But they're the ones who don't want to read the DNC emails. They're the ones who don't want to know anything that would expose corruption on their end. But let's continue. Ben Howe is angry at evangelicals. So check out H.A. Goodman's other channel. It's below in the pinned comment. I'll have a new, very powerful, important segment today. It'll be below in the pinned comment, and that'll be today. Uploaded a little bit after this segment. Ben Howe is angry at evangelicals, and he describes it. He is angry that they didn't just vote for. He is angry that they didn't just vote for Donald Trump in record numbers, but repeatedly provide moral cover for his outrageous failings. Outrageous failings. You mean prison reform legislation? You mean inmates now being people who were unjustly convicted under President Obama and President Bush? People who were convicted by prosecutors like Kamala Harris, who laugh at doing the same things that she convicted others of doing. She literally stated she committed a crime because at that point it was a criminal act. a million years ago when she was young, listening to Tupac and smoking up. And so she was like, yeah, I like, oh, you're so cool. You're so awesome. So you were doing the same thing that you convicted others of. Wow, you're so great. Wow. But repeatedly providing moral cover for his outrageous failings. No, I don't think a Christian or anyone, Muslim, Jewish, was providing moral cover for having a romantic relationship with someone outside of marriage. I don't think anyone is saying that that's okay. Okay, I don't condemn Trump. Like, I'm not saying that he's a horrible person for that. Because if you say that Trump is a horrible person, Bill Clinton is infinitely worse for what he did in the Oval Office. But I don't see the evangelical Christians saying, oh, well, that's okay. They're not. This is a reality created by Democrats. And if you're a born-again Christian or evangelical Christian or Christian, just give me your thoughts below as to what this article is about. He's angry that leaders of the religious right, who long claimed to be champions of American morality, appear to have gladly traded their value for power. So you want them to vote for Clinton, who will have an idle Bubba Bill, who flew on whose plane 26 times? I mean, what do you want? So you want evangelical Christians to vote for Clinton, who in both rhetoric and deed is far worse than Trump, has said and done things far worse than Trump in every single way. Trump did not call black youth super predators who must be brought to heel and who lack empathy and conscience. That was Clinton. That was Clinton. Trump did not preside over the destruction of a nation called Libya. That was Clinton. And Biden and Obama. But let's continue. He's angry that Christians claim they support the president because they want to end, abortion or protect religious liberty. When supporting Trump suggests that they really want is a champion who will mock and crush their perceived enemies. No. Trump mocks, but he retaliates against political adversaries who mock and insult and try to set up and fabricate Russia probes. They went after Trump. They messed with the political equivalent of the honey badger. Okay, the guy doesn't. I mean, he can get stung by a cobra. Honey badger don't care. He doesn't care. By Randall, remember that honey? But look at the honey badger. But to redeem themselves, Howe believes evangelicals have to give up their take no prisoners culture war. Yes, and then vote for Clinton. So she's running in 2020, but what did you want them to do? You want evangelical Christians to vote for Hillary Clinton in 2020? Does that make any sense at all? If you're evangelical Christian, would you ever imagine voting for Clinton? So here's the actual interview. This is interesting. Emma Green, what bothers you so much about the wholesale evangelical support for Donald Trump? As if there would be any other, as if they would just, flock to Democrats with a boycott and everything. So, okay, there is not necessarily anything inherently wrong with a transactional relationship with the president, but Trump brings a few problems. The first is the kind of support he demands, which is a loyalty even when he does something wrong. No, he doesn't. He doesn't demand that at all. So, President Obama demanded loyalty. How many people in the Committee on Foreign Investment, when 20% of U.S. uranium capacity was given to Russia, only President Obama could have vetoed the sale? How many people said, nah, I'd rather just resign? How about nobody? Eric Holder said, yeah, I'm the president's wingman. Loretta Lynch met with Bill Clinton to speak about golf, Brexit, and grandchildren. Okay, that's a lie. If you wanted to stay... President Obama had unparalleled loyalty and support. It just was deemed as, well, he didn't know that his Secretary of State had servers that were outside the U.S. government. Oh, he didn't know about what was taking place in Standing Rock. Oh, when President Obama drank Flint water to deceive citizens of Flint into drinking contaminated water. Oh, that was a shame. That wasn't a shameful political stunt. It was just just a normal political thing. What can you do? It was just a good-hearted president. But if it was Trump, oh my God, the tiki torch and this and that, oh my God. So they create this thing. The late 70s with Jerry Falwell and the moral majority, the whole idea was that they were bringing something to Washington, expectations of morality and character. Now it seems like evangelicals are out to put faith around basic Republican politics. Not really. I would say that evangelical Christians, like a great many people, care about, I don't want to venture into all of this, but they care about, well, I don't even want to get into. There are basic tenets of society that they deem as not only important but normal. Now, this has nothing to do with. I don't even want to get into it. Maybe I'll get into it in the other channel. But anyway, so it's the hypocrisy that bothers you. What? How? Hypocrisy irritates me, but it's not the objective of the book to have people go, those guys are hypocrites. No, the biggest hypocrites are the Democrats who cheated Bernie Sanders and then complained about cheating. This is the definition of hypocrisy. The definition of hypocrisy is saying one thing and doing another. They're the ones who literally cheated their own candidate. And they're the ones who then complained that Russia cheated them by informing the country that they were cheated. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign in disgrace, as were 4 other Democratic Party officials in disgrace. And so evangelical Christians are supposed to be okay with this. I don't understand what the left. This is hilarious. You grew up in this world, right? Yes. Does that add to your irritation? It's important for people to understand I'm not coming from within this movement. I'm coming outside looking in. Oh, okay. Ever look inside the Democrats or Clinton's religious faith? By the way, the Bible is Clinton's favorite book, if you believe that. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. Yeah, right. She's running again, and then you're going to see the definition of hypocrisy. Oh, you can't say this and that and this and that. What Clinton has done and said worse. Mass incarceration, prison reform. Criminal justice reform legislation is more of a divine thing than mass incarceration, which is what the Clintons presided over. So it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that the lengths to which they'll go to set up and frame Trump as this monster. The more he fights, the more they feel justified. Like, he's our hero because we need someone to do this for us. Yeah, that's what. What do you think all those celebrities on Twitter, why do you think they get retweeted 1 million times? Because when they're vile and nasty towards Trump, it's a catharsis to the left. Oh, yeah, you're really giving it to him. Okay, so then they go. When you make a short-term decision that can have long-term detrimental consequences, I think Trump will. Oh, really? You are harming your cause. Really? Trump will have long-term detrimental consequences. How? Because of record low unemployment? Because of Twitter? If you're on Twitter and you are programmed to believe that Russia worked with Trump and that Trump is tearing at the fabric of society with his mean tweets, then yeah. It's unbelievable. The most interesting is when you're talking about the culture of trolling in the controlling in the conservative media world. Really? Of trolling it. Okay, so this guy trolls the conservative media world, and he doesn't correct the record. It's not a troll. $1 million spent by correct the record. All little factions of Democrats and liberals and progressives and people with the little goofy rose icon insulting and trolling people, making sure that everyone is pure on the left. I don't know if I was ever a troll. A troll wants to get people upset. Funny to piss you off. So don't some conservatives, tons of conservatives do that. What I would say is I had a penchant for arguing and snarking. Oh my God, really? Did you talk about how... I don't know how Libya is doing now, and Did you talk about President Obama ensuring that Native Americans weren't brutalized at Standing Rock? Oh, that's right. Did you talk about the fact that well, we can go on forever? The hypocrisy. What they do is the left, they'll find an former evangelical Christian or somebody who grew up and says, "Oh my God, these people are hypocrites for voting for Trump." A person would be a bigger hypocrite for voting for Clinton if they had a value system of a religious person, whether it's a Christian or Muslim or a religious Jew or a Hindu, any religion. You vote for Clinton, you're voting for somebody who is going to send Americans off. She had literally stated she wants to increase our involvement in the Middle East, not decrease our involvement. So in terms of foreign policy, you will vote for somebody who's an interventionist foreign policy, who'll make the world less safe. And then you get this bizarre belief that President Trump is the reason all these bad things take place. But when all these horrible atrocities took place under President Obama, and horrendous groups took a foothold in the Middle East under President Obama, and failed policies of President Obama, he lied about not knowing his Secretary of State had servers outside of the United States government. He targeted conservative groups with the IRS. And it's like, all of this is supposed to be hypocrisy of Trump? No, that's the hypocrisy of people who ignore the endless scandals from President Obama's administration, the latest Democratic Party administration in the White House. People say, "I see you're still fighting on people on Twitter." Yeah, okay. Well, so this guy is a Twitter warrior. Great. That's why it's like I left Twitter, because it's a cyber theocracy for people on the left to ignore their misdeeds, to ignore all the things that make them the most vile hypocrites, from cheating Bernie Sanders to promoting a neoconservative foreign policy, to ignoring when President Obama drank Flint water in a shameful attempt at deceiving people, to ignoring when Clinton spread a photo of Obama in African attire, or when Correct the Record spent $1 million trolling both left and right. And we can go on forever. My God. President Obama deported 3 million human beings, more than any other president ever. But he didn't want to build a wall, so it was okay. Climate change. Okay, President Obama, the greatest expansion of domestic oil and gas production took place under President Obama's administration. So they don't see the hypocrisy here. Let's see this guy's Twitter account. So it's just, if you're an evangelical Christian, let me know your thought process. It's unbelievable, because it's like, the fact anyone that supports Trump, they're going to try to demean. And the underlying argument will be, well, why didn't you support Clinton? Who cheated somebody to get in and then still lost with an advantage of 2-1, 1.2 billion to 600 million. And she's going to run again, and they're going to say vote for her again. That's another great thing about all of this. That's another fantastic thing about all of this. She's going to run again, and they're going to say, why didn't evangelical Christians vote for Clinton again? I'm still with her. They're going to make sure you wear the shirt, or they're going to tell you, oh, you better wear the shirt. How dare you? Give me your thoughts below. This is an Atlantic article, and it's just so interesting. It's just so interesting how, because of Twitter has warped the minds of so many people. Twitter is not life. Twitter is not life. At some point, I think I've got to accept that what I think conservative is not what others think it is. I'm a little more protective of the world of evangelical, because I think evangelize is a good and important word. Oh, really? So they should vote Democrat? But conservatism, was called other things in the past, classical liberalism and things like that. So sometimes I call myself a libertarian. Sometimes I call myself a conservatarian. Why don't you just call yourself a Democrat? It's okay. You're being published in the Atlantic, which is great. Atlantic is, used to be fantastic. Now it's, a glorified version of Slate or the Daily Beast. Atlantic used to be amazing. And sometimes they still come up with good articles, but just call yourself a Democrat. It's a big tent. Don't worry. All those Republicans like Joe Scarborough, from here on out, Trump has made me embarrassed to be a Republican. It's like, don't worry. Nobody cares, Scarborough, if you leave the Republican Party. I'm not even a Republican, but I can tell you nobody cares. Okay, I was a lifelong Democrat until now. Recently, I'm no party affiliation, nothing. I'm a Trump supporter, okay, because he goes up against people, corrupt intelligence officials, and there's evidence they set up and framed him. He points out the fact that Clinton committed criminal acts with top secret and special access program intelligence funneled illegally to servers outside of the United States government. Oh yeah, by the way, Paul Gambetta of Stone Tier, Reddit's Stone Tier fame, transferred all of her emails, including classified ones, to a Gmail account outside the U.S. government, including the classified ones, and the FBI is like, nah, no big deal. This is rampant criminality. Rampant. And they're worried about Trump because of a dossier. They go after Trump for 3 years because of a dossier. She had servers outside the U.S. government that were unencrypted for more than 3 months. She logged onto a cable company, internet, when she was at Chappaqua while she was Secretary of State. She was using a BlackBerry she shouldn't use. And then they say, well, there's no evidence her server was hacked. The thing was open to the entire planet. And even Michael Hayden of the NSA said, yeah, I would lose respect for anyone who didn't infiltrate and obtain all her emails. I mean, you're talking about the most disingenuous liars on the planet. Oh, Loretta Lynch speaks about golf, Brexit, and grandchildren with Bill Clinton 2 days before Hillary is interviewed by Strzok, who then says, we will stop Trump? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Give me your thoughts below. If you're an evangelical Christian, give me your thoughts as to this article in the Atlantic. Thank you. Oh, and check out H.A. Goodman's other channel. You'll get my alter ego. It is below, and there'll be a new segment later today.